wine lovers. Welcome back to my Alsace wine journey. Well, today I'm discovering one of the top wineries from Alsace. Really excited to drink the wines from Léon Beyer. This is part of the Millesimes Alsace Digitasting 2021 presented by Vin Alsace. Exceptional opportunity. I'm so excited. Let's learn a little bit about the winery and let's taste the wines. The Beyer family have been wine growers in Eguisheim, which is south of Colmar, which is the major city in Alsace, since about 1580. The actual winery was founded in 1867 by Emile Beyer, and then run by Léon Beyer, who is named after, and then by Léon Beyer Jr., and subsequently now by Marc Beyer, who is the 13th generation, and his son, Yann Leon Beyer, who is both pictured in this photo. They are a premium producer, one of the top producers in Alsace, commonly referred to as TBH. So TBH is Trimbach, Léon Beyer, and Hugel. And these three are the people that actually have such good wines that they supersede the Grand Cru system. So they don't, previously they never actually refer to Grand Crus at all, and a lot of their wines don't have it on there. But now, you'll see it in their current renditions having Grand Cru on some of their labels. This is a picture of Eguisheim taken from the website of Léon Beyer. It's a really neat place. It's all circular, so it's very neat. They have about 20 hectares of land in Eguisheim, and they also buy another 50 acres from other grapes from other producers there. They have two premier Grand Cru kind of villages that they primarily grow their grapes from. One is Eichberg and the other is Pfersigberg, which means Hill of Peaches. These are really spectacular vineyards. Clay limestone characteristics brings the minerality, and they are hand-picked. They are very traditional. They put a lot of the attention to detail into the wines, and the expression of these grapes are just synonymous with Alsace and being top quality producers. So we're going to drink 4 of their wines. The first one is a Riesling 2015 from the Grand Cru vineyard of Eichberg, and it's their from their line, the R by Beyer line. So they have a couple of labels that they kind of have. So their lines are basically the Classic, which is their entry-level wines, the Reserve, then their Comtes, Eguisheim, then their sweet wines, and then they have this R by Beyer label, which is kind of almost similar to their Comtes Eguisheim, which is kind of single vineyard bottlings of expressions of grapes. Their next bottle is going to be another Riesling, the 2013 vintage from the Grand Cru of vineyard of Pfersigberg, which means Valley of Peaches. I know that sometimes Alsace producers have traditional labels, and some of them are not that attractive. I love this label, quite frankly. I think it's one of the best labels out there. It's very Alsatian, it's very classic, but very colorful and really distinctive. And it's not boring. It actually does add to the charm and actually looks not hokey. It looks like an expensive or prestigious bottle. So I love this. The next bottle we're going to taste is a Pinot Gris from 2016. It's also their Comtes Eguisheim label. So this is kind of their single vineyard bottling label. Love the label itself, the colorfulness of it. And again, comes from the Grand Cru vineyard of Eichberg. And the last bottle we're going to taste is going to be a Pinot Noir from the 2016 vintage. It's AOC Alsace, so it doesn't come from a specific vineyard, but most likely all these grapes are coming from the Eguisheim region. let's get to the tasting of the wines. So the first one is going to be the 2015 Riesling Grand Cru from Eichberg. It's Emile Beyer. So let's try this out. On the nose, I got a little apple, maybe like green apple. I get the mineraliness. It's funny because I'm salivating, but I don't find it acidic. I don't find the citrus at all over, but I see some ripeness in terms of, I almost want to say sweetness, but it doesn't smell. It reminds me of apricots and peaches, but it's a funny feeling. It's quite complex in terms of it. It's making me salivate, but it's not acidic. It's giving me the impression of sweetness, but it's not sweet. And there's some minerality. Lots of complexity, lots of length, really covers your mouth. Good intensity of flavors, long aftertaste, thick, medium bodied, minerally definitely. I would say I still see the apples in here. I see citrus elements. I like the purity of the fruit, but I like the intensity too. And I like it's not sharp. It doesn't feel sharp in any way. It's very smooth in all levels. I'm going to give this like 93 points. It's a good wine. I think it'd be even better with food. The next wine I'm going to taste is the 2013 Grand Cru from Pfersigberg. Let's try this one out. And I like that they are giving me to taste wines with a little age. Rieslings that are young are great, but aged Rieslings really give you a different complexity and give you a different feel to things. It's still very light in color, so it's still, I'm sure it's got lots of years left. Well, I love the smell. It smells like, it's very unique in terms of very fresh fruit. I want to say that quince or pomelo, like it's really very refreshing fruit. Wow. Lovely nose. And a lot of times you get lychee with Gewürz. This is not lychee, it's pomelo and quince. It's beautiful. I rarely smell this in wines. And again, it could be in other wines, but I'm not a great smeller. And this speaks to the clarity and of the fruit. It's so easy to pick up this. Like a person like me that's not that great at picking up aromas can pick this up very, very easily. Like anyone can pick this up. This is really nice. Now, if you look at it a little bit more, you get a little bit of minerality on the back. So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the complexity of when you have like salted caramel or salted caramel ice cream. Like you have the salt and the sweetness. This is really neat because you get the minerality, the saltiness and minerality at the aftertaste, but the beginning is very fruity. Lots of honey, peaches that I get in this. The aroma is exceptional. This wine's got everything. Like, so far of my tastings, this is the best Riesling I've had on this site because it's got that complexity. It's got fruit, it's got acidity, it's got minerality, it's got that tanginess. It's got a little bit of everything, and it makes it very interesting because anything that you like, it probably has. and it's got it all. So very interesting wine. I'd love to have a whole bottle of this. If you look at the site and their label, it's a beautiful, exceptional label. I love the label. I'm loving this wine. I'd rather love Eichberg because it's easier to pronounce, but this Pfersigberg, I'm going 95 points for this wine. I really like this wine. This is crazy good. I don't even know how much this is, but it's a great wine. Okay, the next one we're going to go to is the Eichberg 2016 Pinot Gris. And this is Comtes d'Eguisheim. The second wine was also Comtes d'Eguisheim. D'Eguisheim. It's hard to focus on this wine because the last wine was still in my mind. It's so good. But in this one, I get a little bit of almost like a grind, like a marmalade. And I'm not a great Pinot Gris fan, but yeah, you get that bit of kind of peel, like a peel. You get some underlying tropical fruits also, but very light, like pears maybe, a little bit of like guava, very light fruit at the end of this. But again, it's really hard after you taste the last wine was so hard to get out of your mind, right? It was so good. It's a completely different wine, like the body. Very citrusy, grapefruity notes. Got that grind, like orange peel, lemon peel aftertaste. I think it'd be really good with food, but more like citrusy elements. It's a good wine. So again, my personal preference, I'm not a big Pinot Gris fan because I don't like really citrusy, grapefruity elements. That's not a marmalade. That's not my thing on a personal scale, but I recognize that is this Pinot Gris wine, and it's a well-made wine. So I actually like the wine. I'm going to score it 91 points, but again, I have to declare my personal preference. I'm not a big person that likes kind of this marmalade peel type citrusiness. So in other people's mind, if they like that, they might score this a little bit higher, but very well made wine. And again, tough to drink after I've tasted a exceptional Riesling. And then the last one I'm going to taste is the Pinot Noir. Different glass for that. So this gives you lots of, it's fuller. It's a similar style to other Pinot Noirs from Alsace I've reviewed. Not as fruit generous as you would expect from Burgundy or from North American Pinots. But very precise. Again, I get the pepperiness, the smoked meats, of course, black plums. So this is, if you want dry, this is dry. This is a dry wine. Intensity is great. Black cherries, black plums, violets. Really quite, in a way, I would say astringent, but very clear in terms of and precise. I think it'd go well with food. I think it's tough as a tasting wine by itself, but I think it'd go great with food. I'm going to give this 88 points. Final thoughts on this wine. I had very high expectations of this winery because they're very well known, very high-end premium wine with Trimbach and Hugal TBH. They're known worldwide, and it's hard to live up to those high expectations, but I think they did. I was very, very impressed with their wines. I can understand why they are so sought after. I don't know how much the Grand Cru Pfersigberg was, the 13, but oh my goodness, that is so far. That's in my young experience with my Alsace wine journey. That's the best Riesling I've tasted so far. Wow, if you look at the label, if you ever get a bottle, it's a beautiful label. I'd buy this all day long. Seriously, this is and again, it's unfair to the wines I tasted after that because I was just stunned by this wine. It's like, wow, that's a crazy good wine. And everyone should have a chance to taste this wine. I hope we get this in Vancouver. If I ever get this in Vancouver, I'm for sure going to buy this up. Anyways, until next time, happy drinking.